ladies and gentlemen. It's the Noobtoob Modcast, featuring Jammin' Slaver, Locke, and Sunflower.
Since you have to leave early, let's get you out of the way. And
Yes.
You've got a special treat to tell us about. What have you been playing this week?
I imported Demon Souls for the PS3 from Japan, which
Holy
is actually
shit, from
coming out in it's coming out in like October, September, something like that. But I didn't feel like waiting anymore, so I went ahead and ordered it. I got the Asian version. I bought it from Play Asia. The Asian version has full English in it, so that's nice. I never had to change a language setting. It was all beautiful. So
I was just going to say, do you read Japanese?
I do not. I don't read any of it anymore. I used to try to pretend like I could learn one day, but no, that's not happening. So anyway, I got it, and it's an action RPG.
Resembling what?
If I had to say anything, like just based on the tone, I mean, it's an extremely dark fantasy game, which is kind of multiplayer.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to explain here. Basically, you have swords, you have wizards, there's dragons, there's demons, blah, all sorts of fun stuff. This kingdom is having a fog overtake it. And when people die, they go over to the other world, which is like the spirit realm, which is the same realm that you're in, and they have to fight demons if they're strong enough, or they die forever, something like that. So what you do is that you are a spirit, or actually in human form if you're good enough, which I am not. I end up getting killed by things. And you run around and you harvest demon souls, which is where the game gets its name. Ooh. And you go through these stages and you fight giant monsters and you collect the souls and you trade them in to up your stats or mess with your armor, upgrade your equipment. You find stuff on people if you're really good. And it's really hard.
It's punishing.
It's brutal.
Now, who made this game?
From Software.
So the people from Chrome Hounds and Armored Core, that's what I know them from.
Yes, and they certainly didn't do us any favors on the difficulty. It is blisteringly tough.
Now, the last difficult game I recall you playing was, say, Persona, because it was unfair. How does this hold up in terms of, are you going to keep playing it? Is it fun enough for you to play this game even though it's tough? Does it have that draw?
It's a great game. The game looks fantastic, and I really like the setting, with castles and swords and crossbows and magic. And you can create a bunch of different types of people for yourself if you want. I went with a something kind of like a Templar Knight, so I'm this big knight. Woohoo! Imagine that. But the game's got me wanting to try out some of the other builds, like priests and hunters and things like that. And I know they sound really generic, but they all look very different.
Now, do you build?
Very cool.
Do you build your character class at the start? Like, do you boot it up,
yes.
Hit new game, and you're like, "Hey, I want to be a thief."
That's exactly how it works.
Okay. And then
you have a thief.
And then you level up. I'm guessing as you kill things, get different loot.
Well, here's how the game works.
Okay.
Each enemy that you kill, you get a certain amount of soul power, whatever. I got soul. But when you die, you lose all of them, but it stays in one point on the level.
So you can go collect it again.
The only way to level up is to redeem those souls back at, which is the hub world, which is the Nexus, which is where you go when you die.
Oh.
Which you can also pass back and forth for certain checkpoints, but there's not very many checkpoints, and it's very hard to get back if you've gone very far sometimes. So it's really hard to balance whether or not you want to continue going and see how far you can get, or if you want to turn around and take what you've got, because every time you visit the Nexus, all the enemies reappear, except for the bosses.
Okay.
And the enemies are brutal.
So that's the kind of level design. It looks great. It's a fantasy setting. How does it play in terms of, I'm assuming you're a melee fighter. How does the controls work? Is it straight up attack spell sort of thing?
Well, for me, actually, the person I'm using doesn't have magic.
Okay.
He has faith, which is basically magic. Also.
Okay.
Since I'm like
you
a
gotta
warrior,
have faith.
Yeah, since I'm a warrior of the church, I can actually use that faith as a healing spell for myself so far, and I'm sure I'll get other things as well. The game, I mean, like I said, it looks really good, but there's this part where you turn this corner on the castle and you see these two big-ass dragons just sitting on a hill chilling, and you're like, oh shit, these guys are going to be problems. And one of the problems, I mean, the game is not perfect by any means. There's still lots of problems, lots of irritating ways to die, but this kind of game really does work for me because I do like a challenge and I can see myself getting better as I play, and I cannot wait to continue playing and getting better.
Okay, cool. Any features that it does differently than any other, say, action RPG or game of this kind of genre?
Like I was telling you, it's sort of multiplayer. You can...
Yeah, how does that work?
As you play, you see other specters running around fighting invisible enemies that you can't see.
Okay.
That's basically other people that are playing the game that are in the same stage as you. You're watching what they're doing without seeing, who they're actually fighting. So sometimes that can give you an interesting point of view on if you're at a boss and you see a whole bunch of people on one certain spot doing something. That's probably a safe area that you should run to and hang out up there and... I mean, they're not attacking your boss. They're attacking their own boss in their own game. But if there's a bunch of people up on, one corner, there's got to be a reason they're on there, which is the way I figure.
Okay.
So I go up there and I hang out with them. Not really hang out with them, but...
You just see what they're doing.
See if I can figure out, what they're up to.
But can you party up and, say, take on those two dragons?
Not exactly. From what I understand, you have to have a certain item, and you can call different people into your game, but you don't have any control over who that is. From what I understand.
Okay.
I need to actually spend some more time with that part of the game because I haven't had any luck. Now, if one of these ghosts dies, there's a blood pool that's on the ground, and if you, say, for instance, turn the corner in the castle and you see a couple blood pools on there, you touch those and you get to see the last few seconds of the other person's life.
Whoa, that's kind of neat.
It is. So if you go up there and you touch this blood pool and you see them hauling ass towards you and then falling down, you probably shouldn't keep going because something's going to scare the shit out of you. You're going to turn around, run away, and get stabbed in the back.
Definitely.
So it's things like that that definitely keep it interesting. Another thing is that there's what's called the world tendency. Okay. If you die a whole bunch or if there's certain criteria that will make the world that you're in lean towards white or black world tendency. And what that does is if it's black tendency, there's better loot to be had.
Okay.
The enemies are stronger, and certain areas are opened up to you, like certain gates and things like that. If it's white tendency, the enemies are weaker, there's not so much good stuff to have, and other different areas will be open to you.
A little bit kind of auto-balancing going on?
Not exactly.
Or just
it's not
kind
really
of
like
level
that.
changing. They're changing what is happening in the world.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, that's different.
It's really interesting in that respect, and you also fight different bosses on some areas as well. So that's pretty cool. Right
Nice.
now, I'm stuck in World 1-2, even though I'm able to go to the other worlds if I please. And I have checked those out. They're pretty crazy, but I'm fighting a knight that is about 5 times bigger than I am, and he has this enormous tower shield, and he completely raped me. Last time I was there. So I'm thinking about fighting my way back there, but I also kind of want to sit around and grind a little bit, get my level up a little bit more. Not really sure what to do.
Now, how do you complete this game? Do you take on side quests? Do you have story quests from the hub world?
Well, there's no side quest to my knowledge.
Okay, so just wandering monsters?
Not really wandering. They're always in the same spot every time you access the level. It's just like you try the level again and again.
Okay.
And you find out what works for you, and you try and unlock shortcuts so you don't have to do so much walking next time and things like that. But the goal is to kill the big demon at the end of every single world.
Okay, and how many worlds are we talking? Sorry, did you mention that already?
There are 5 of them.
And like 5-1, 5-2 sort of thing?
There's a lot of sub-levels to those individual areas. I've been to a castle, I've been to an underground tunnel where a lot of mining's going on, and I've been to a prison, which is not a happy place. So.
No. That's cool. And then, I don't know. Was this worth importing, or do you think they're going to change anything from now until October? Should we wait for this release in North America? What's your perspective? What's your kind of final thoughts?
I don't see any reason to wait on importing this game. If you enjoy a difficult game and you can tell when your skill improves and gets better and things like that, and you really enjoy a medieval setting like this, this will definitely be a game that you should import because PS3 exclusive. It is on PlayStation 3. I didn't mention that earlier.
Demon's Souls.
But region free across the board. So make sure you get the Asian version and not the Japanese version. The Japanese version does not have English, so just go for Asian.
Asian, that's right. So Asian version of Demon's Souls. Thumbs up from Sonny. Buy this.
Big thumbs up. It only cost $5 more than it would have had I bought it over here.
Exactly.
So if you get frustrated really easily, and God knows I get frustrated enough, there's still something about this game that keeps bringing me back in. So
we'll figure what that is as
it
you
was
sink
probably
more.
the fact that I paid $65 for it.
And you want to get your money's worth.